So a lot of the model horse shows that you will be going to usually require that you have a 3x5 index card. Generally what you do is when you get to the show, or before the show actually, usually up here you put the class number, you know, whatever their identification for that class is, the horse's name, breed, and gender, and then on your back you put your name. Now, some shows don't do the 3x5 index card. They use the little tags with the strings on them. A lot of people don't do that method anymore just because the strings are a lot harder to handle and work with when the judge can just come around and just pick up this card, which is a lot easier, and then they can just ship these to NAN. So a lot of people have been going with the 3x5 index cards. You know, they're cheap and easy to do, and overall they're just a little bit easier to handle, even though they may be a little bit big, but they're just so much easier to work with and such. So when you go up to the table, you take your horse and you put him down on the table. So like this is the table here, and you place him wherever there's room. Technically, I mean, a lot of the classes, some classes can be really full, so you may have to put them in the center of the table while there's lots of horses on the outside. And then what you do is you take your card and you place it right in front of your model. So then when the judge comes around, he'll look at your model, and if he likes the horse, he'll pick up the card after he goes around. I think some judges go around like 4 times, I'm serious. And then when they come around, usually what they do is they put a little number up here, which is either like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place. And then they pick up that card once they put the number down, and then they go and do the next thing until they complete all the way up to 6th place. So yeah, but generally it's really easy. Now if you have the little tags, usually the rules are with those is that you do the same thing: horse's name, breed, gender, and then on the back you put your name. But the problem with those little tags is that they don't make the strings long enough, so when you put them on your model, usually it's on a back foot. When you put those little strings on your models, sometimes the strings are so short that when the judge goes to flip it over to look at the name, the problem that happens is that sometimes if the model is not super heavy, like this guy, I wouldn't be worried about it because he's all 4 feet. It would be hard to tip him over. But with, let's say, a model that's only got 3 legs on the ground, would be a little bit easier to tip, and if the judge accidentally pulled on the tag a little bit, it could knock the model over. I haven't seen this happen. I've only seen it happen like a couple of times, and it was on YouTube. But we usually, like all the shows here in Arizona, we just use the 3x5 index cards. And then another rule of judging is that if you've got a model that's really tippy, I recommend putting a soft cloth down, and then you can lay the model on the side. Now this gives the judge a chance to pick up that model. Okay, so what the judge just does is he will pick up the model, like, you know, he's laying on his side, he'll pick up the model and he'll flip it over to look at the other side. A lot of people do that when the horse may have flaws on one side. And usually before the judge picks up the model, the judge will call out, he'll look at your card and say, for me, I'll just use me as an example, he'll say, Holly, can I, you know, he'll call your name, and then you say here, and then he'll say, may I pick up your horse? And then you say either yes or no, and the good decision is to say yes. Or sometimes what you can say is, can I pick up the horse myself, you know, especially if it's a really fancy resin. Generally then you can come over and then you can pick up the horse and then show the horse to the judge on the other side. But this just varies depending on the show, the judge, everything. But yeah, so basically, you know, you just put your 3x5 index card in front of your model, have your horse presentable, and make sure you dust off all little dust on him. You want him to be shiny and clean. And then when you go to pick up your horse, if he didn't place, you take your card with you and take your horse with you. So, yeah.